Podcast is now starting.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan Andersson in our Oxfordshire office, wishing you welcome to this webinar. I see that we have almost a record attendance here. And of course, you know that you're from all over the world and every single time zone that we have. But fantastic to see you all, and great to be here. Now, we have kind of a short webinar here. There's a couple of things that we are focusing on at the moment, but where we are in terms of our business is in a very healthy place. We're doing fantastic sales. We're seeing people maxing out on the compensation plan, several of them going, and there's a fantastic momentum across all of our markets. So we have Chinese speaking communities engaging. We have fantastic sales out of the Dubai region, great stuff showing in Africa and in Europe and in the Americas. So in the overall scheme of things, a delighted CEO saying thank you very much, and thank you for your hard work and commitments. Now, in terms of content here today, we're going to talk about the DMS, bank transfer payments. There's some changes there, some Leo Crowd, a fantastic Leo Crowd project that I'm hoping that we will have David Johnstone online, the general manager for Leo Crowd, to talk about. Yes, there I see his name. So he's going to be doing that a bit later on, and some fantastic events that are going on out there, because we really have been pushing the boat out. I went one weekend to Hong Kong, did the parliamentary event on the Tuesday, went to Cameroon on the following weekend, and met up with the French DSA last week, and so my feet have hardly touched the ground, as it should be. But the thing that is driving our business at the moment is the DMS, and it's great to see, because we're sort of breaking new ground there in direct selling terms and in digital currency terms. It's kind of fantastic to sort of see that now the brains have understood it and kind of got it, and it is as it should be. Now, we are on this call telling you that the people who purchased the DMS before the 17th of November, the first tranche of people, the people who back in November said, oh, it's a long time to wait until February before we get this thing. But part of the DMS is that there's a logistical challenge in terms of, we get a sale, we have to go and source the hardware, we have to set up the hardware. That means that we have to organize infrastructure around location. We then have to make sure that we have enough electricity, and just that in itself is a challenge, because it really has been a product that's almost took us a little bit by surprise how much people have engaged with it, and it's fantastic. So you need to attach your wallets, and you must be a KYC person, as you know, in order to draw these things out. But on the 1st of February, which is Thursday this week, you will be getting your award. The mining service that is whirring away is kicking out the reward, and that will be coming to you, and you will see it, and you'll be able to transfer it straight into your wallet if you're all sort of set up, and so all good. Now, what is very cool is that we've been delighted that our early cautionary estimates, we said that without making any guarantees, that between 100 and 300 pounds worth of digital assets will be what this service kicks out, and the reward for this coming week, depending on how the currency exchange rates holds, etc., is going to come in at the 350 plus level. If we were paying it out today, we would actually be giving out 0.045 Bitcoin. If we were paying it, if you chose Ethereum, it would be 0.3 Ethereum and some loose change there. So that means that you purchased the product, and in month one of it, you got a significant proportion of the 12 months award out already. And if that ratio holds true, this will be a landslide product, because we are enabling people to participate in the emerging digital economy without technical knowledge, without being a nerd, without being a techie, and we can just provide that so that people who are entrepreneurs across our global community base can participate in something that technologically they might not be savvy enough to do. What I'm trying to say is that if I was asked to set up a mining service myself in my house to mine some of the obscure currencies that we're mining and then converting them and going on exchanges and converting them into assets that can be moved around into a fiat economy, I would be challenged to do that on a personal level. But what I can do is I can purchase the expertise that Leo has gained in this space since 2014, and that win-win is working extremely well. So, as you know, just to recap, this is only for Leo members. So this is not a customer-facing product. This is a service or some an added value that we give to our members who are bronze rank or higher. You are purchasing rental of this mining power for 12 months. We don't mine the big coins. We don't mine the second tier coins. We mine old coins that are obscure that you and I probably would never have heard of. And we have algorithms that define which ones we do, lots of inside knowledge. There's kind of proof of stake mechanisms going on as well, which is adding huge value to the whole landscape. And you can then choose to have BTC or Ethereum as what you think is the best thing to hold. Now, at the moment, digital currencies are kind of at a regroup stage. The price of Bitcoin is sort of around $11,000, which is a significant drop from where they were a month ago, but a significant uplift to where they were 12 months ago. If the digital currency market holds true to what I think that it will do over the next 12 months, it'll be a very interesting thing to see how much your digital assets that you gain through the DMS will be worth in a year's time. But again, there's nothing that I have control over or can make any promises about. But I suspect that participating in emerging technology will be one of the best things that you and your family has ever done. So we think that this is a great conversation piece, because everywhere I go, from social events or business events or receptions or even a private party that I went to in my little village over the weekend, the minute you get into digital currencies and Bitcoin, people have an interest in talking to you. It's the most extraordinary thing that there's a real zeitgeist, there's a real spirit of the times thing going on here now, where everyone has heard about it, but very few people understand it. And if you can then offer something into that interest, you have a winning proposition. So we are very, very excited by that. Now, as you know, because of the logistical challenges that I've outlined on this call, inevitably, when you purchase the thing, we then have to get our ducks in a row so that we can then provide you with the old whirring and old dancing software to be doing production. And there's a time delay on that. That comes from all of these logistical matters. Now, we have decided, without making too fine a point of it, that if you purchase this in January, the service will start on the 1st of March. The reward will come to you by the end of March. But if you purchase one day later in February, we've had to just be realistic, and again, in the spirit of under-promising and over-delivering, we've had to say that the earliest we can commit to give you the working service will be the 1st of May, with the reward coming then at the end of May. So that there's a 2 months different there, but for the sake of 24 hours, if you have someone who's close to saying that they want to do this, well, encourage them to do it now, because the early bird catches the worm. That means that we are today on the 29th of January. There's a couple of days until January is over and done by. If you want to participate in this, get it done now, and all power to you. We have a bit of a situation in some markets where it's actually quite hard for people to find how they can pay for this, because there's we can't use back office money, because we have to actually go out and purchase hardware and what have you. But the people are finding ways in which they can raise the money, they can purchase the thing. Kind of at the end of the day, we don't want to be put in a situation where we're enticing people to purchase something that they don't want to purchase. But so that there will be some people that can't actually make it happen, and that is what it is. And I cry me a river, but there's nothing much that we can do about that, to be fair to you. So just saying that this will not be extended It has to follow our terms and conditions, and it has to be done in a way that supports our business and our compliance and all of these other matters. Now, in terms of paying with bank transfers, there's a new option in the checkout. Some of you may have seen this already. The details of the bank account where you want to be making this transfer to, the receipt and the reference number are provided. The activation code will be issued once the funds have been received, and then you enter the code to complete the purchase. And this is available for all markets except Pakistan for reasons of compliance, and Pakistan has different methods for making their payments using the local company and what have you. So that is kind of where that is, and there's constant work going on in IT in this area and in every other area of our business. We're really amazed to see how many people are engaging with our e-learning products at the moment, and overall their IT team out of our Dubai region are doing extraordinary work, and you should all be incredibly positive and thankful to any connections that you have to the Leo IT team, because they're doing miracle work at the moment in many different areas. Now, we have also, as you know, a platform called Leo Crowd, and while I would be the first person to admit that a year and a half ago we probably thought that we could advance faster with it than we did, and even a year ago we were thinking that we could really make a breakneck speed in terms of success and punching through to a place where we can do an IPO on the back of the fantastic success story that we've had. But launching real things is not without complexity, and the Leo Crowd platform, to operate that on a global level for our global community, certainly there have been some challenges. And what is very cool is to see the work that David Johnstone and his team are doing, because we are punching well above our weight. I had people in the office here in the UK last week who were very successful crowdfunding campaign successes, if you like. They successfully raised money on Kickstarter, several sort of 6 or 8 projects. They've come on board with Leo Crowd. They are so impressed with our platform and our positioning around training, building your tribe, holding people's hands to do that. In many ways, we are coaching and working with our people in a way that no other crowdfunding platform is doing. And this focus on training has worked extremely well for us to get widespread recognition as a crowdfunding platform that is real and coming and going places. So I've got David Johnstone on the call, who is a general manager, who is a person who's been in entrepreneurship and in business for a long time, and especially excited about some of the developments that we're seeing as we're taking the Leo Crowd platform into the property area where you can find property projects. But what we have now is a reward-based model that is eminently suitable to do charity-based projects, and there's one here that is very close to David Johnstone's heart, because he has roots in Africa and he has experience of Africa, and this project of drilling wells in Africa to support local community care is fantastic. So David, are you there?
I am indeed, Dan. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Now, so you've got a record audience here from, I don't know, 25, 30 countries on the call. So I know that you speak English with a slight Irish accent, so do be mindful to speak slowly and clearly. But tell me, why does your heart burn for this project here?
Yes, well, good afternoon to all the Leo members around the world. It's a privilege to be on and to share with you this project. I've had an interest in Africa for a number of years. I've traveled there on business, and I have a number of friends who are involved in this particular project. So myself and 5 friends actually head out to Western Africa this weekend. And the aim of the trip and the aim of this project you see before you is to drill water wells in very remote parts of this Western African country. So we work down with some local government agencies, some local missions, and we effectively bring a source of clean, healthy water to remote villages that often have to walk 5 or 6 miles just to get any source of water. And very often that's very unclean and dirty and obviously full of diseases. So it's hard it's actually hard not to be touched down by the deprivation. You see thousands of children die every year through lack of clean drinking water. Millions die in Africa, just due to diseases, very often again caused by lack of clear water. So that's really the motivation behind it.
I don't know much about Burkina Faso, to be perfectly honest, but obviously I can see on the map that it's sort of, is it sort of in the Sahara or sort of bordering to, or?
Yeah, just bordering to. It's just south of the large African country of Mali, which would be quite well known, and it borders about 6 different countries, Ivory Coast, Ghana, countries like that. So,
and landlocked.
A country like. Yes, very much so, and has, like many African countries, has got a very recent history of political unrest and difficulties. It's quite an interesting country.
Yeah. So you have villages there then, and communities, whole communities that have what, 5-6 miles to walk to get water.
Indeed, in some cases that is the norm. The day is taken up with just a walk with whatever carriers they can find to put water in and then walk back again. So it's quite staggering compared to what many parts of the world has.
Yeah. And so you're going over there as a Westerner to support this sort of charity and building wells. What stops the local people from just digging their own wells and sorting out their own water needs?
Yes, that's a very, very good question. It turns out that when you look at the geo studies, there actually is water sources, but it's 100 to 150 feet below the surface. So villagers wouldn't have the mechanical wherewithal to access that. So the local government will have done studies in various areas, identified where the water might be, and then our job is to come in with the correct drilling equipment, which is, you can see on the screen there, it's large mechanical drilling, and that's the only way they can access the water sources that's so far underground.
Oh goodness! And so this £5,000 target is that to drill one well? Is that how it works?
Yes, the team go out and try and drill as many wells as they can. They might be fortunate and hit a well day 1, or it might be day 5. But £5,000 is the cost for to drill one well. And if we raise that amount, we can actually name a well for ourselves. So if we're successful, then Leo will have been part of actually something tangible, and we can actually point to a physical well in Burkina Faso that Leo actually and his members around the world helped to fund. I think that'd be really cool, both for corporate and for the membership.
Yeah. Because I mean, we're obviously sort of part of education and entrepreneurship, and but there's kind of base needs that if we have a project like this, we're actually addressing something that a community would be desperate for, I imagine.
Yes, they estimate that one water well will provide water for 500 people, which is around the size of a normal village community. So it can make a tremendous difference to the health of the community, and as well as just stopping young people, children dying through lack of water. So the impact that we together with the membership supporting this project, we can make a real difference down to whole communities in this country in Africa.
Ah, brilliant. And how long are you going for?
2 weeks, a full 2 weeks. I won't see a physical shower for 12 days. We're literally living right out in the outback. It'll be a bucket and sponge for 12 days. So that's how far we are into remote villages.
Yeah. And so these sort of kind of, how should I say, without putting my foot in it, but kind of primitive conditions and cross-country things in 4-wheel drives and the sort of the great big heroic effort to make this happen.
Yeah, very, very much so. A bed is literally a camp bed, mosquito net under the stars, and it's literally moving from village to village and providing, if possible, the clean water for them. So it's an interesting project. It's one I'm looking forward to. It's nice to be able to give something back, and I know you're very passionate as CEO of Leo to be able to give something back to people who aren't just quite as fortunate as perhaps we are.
No, I think there's something about being a good corporate citizen that your business should be for more than just making money, and I've always felt that the money is the byproduct of doing good work. So if Leo can be part of this through your efforts and and through the support of everyone in the Leo Crowd community, I think that's just a fantastic thing. So as soon as we hang up here, I'm going to go to leocrowd.com, and I'm going to be pledging my support. And I'm sure that, well, I guess I'm not going to buy a well myself, although I might. But I think everyone in the Leo community should dig. Even a small amount makes a difference, right?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I appreciate there are a lot of good causes. I'm sure many Leo members support their own charities. I understand that. But if we could just get the community of Leo just to support a little bit each in that numbers, it's all about crowdfunding. This is also proving our Leo Crowd platform. If we can get the members just to put a little bit in each, and it proves the concept of Leo Crowd, and we're able to use Leo Crowd as having made a real difference to these African villages.
Yeah, because we're having some teething issues on the platform in terms of payment solutions and stuff, because we've had some of the incumbents take issue with our global platform and digital currencies, what have you. But we can pledge with Leo Coin, can we, or what mechanisms are available?
Yes, we can pledge with Leo Coin as per normal, and Bitcoin as well can be used, and then there's a pledge for credit cards. So we can't take payment, but there'll be a pledge taken, and then we will do the actual transaction in due course.
Well, I'm not giving up any of my Leo Coin, but I'll donate a Bitcoin.
Yes, no problem at all. So again, can I thank all the members who have already pledged. I know a number of members have pledged, so I do really appreciate that. I look forward to keeping everyone up to date. During my journey, I'll send back a few messages, and we'll keep the members up to date with how the trip has gone. So in advance, I thank all the members for their help and their support.
You know, and thank you, David, for your work, both on Leo Crowd and for doing this particular project. I really respect that, because it's kind of good work that we should all be proud of.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
All right, cheers, David. I'm muting you now. So this is kind of just one small example of the sort of work that Leo is contributing to, and as I said before, I am just fiercely proud of us doing a business that is not just about making money, but is much more than that. It's much more than we can contribute to causes, and we can kind of give recognition to the fact that we're sort of all in this mess together on a global level, our multicultural platform and our global thing, and that we can help people in Africa, we can help people in Asia, we can do work everywhere. And for me, that's very, very important. Now, part of that is that we obviously have some events and things coming up, and in particular, on the 10th of February, which is what, 2 weeks away now, Andy Hansen is going to Finland to do an event over there, and that's looking like that's going to be a very, very successful kind of penetration into the Finnish market for the first time. And of course, Finland is right at this moment kind of a hot potato for me, because the Finnish market is connected on a global level in quite extraordinary ways, but in particular to the Baltic states through our Finnish venture. We're sort of now in Estland, Letland, Lithuania. We are going from there into Ukraine and into Russia, and so this little odd country in northern Europe called Finland is in direct selling terms very, very powerful, and Rauno, our leader over there, is really leading the charge there, and in many other countries as well. So very, very pleased that Leo can do the first live seminar in Finland, and that's looking like a little bit of a sellout event there now, so very, very pleased about that. And of course, we're doing events all over the world. This was shared with me just from the Chinese GAM that I do before this call, and in the Toronto office, there's kind of a sense that the penny has dropped, but the ecosystem and the whole Leo story is now being used to drive sales of Leo products. So they invite people because people are interested in crowdfunding, and so they talk about Leo Crowd, and from crowdfunding they segue into talking about a community that they've set up on social media where merchants can make available their products, and only Leo Coin is accepted as a payment solution. So there's kind of a really active Leo Coin peer-to-peer network being set up now by Stone and his other Chinese leaders. And if you look carefully at the pictures there, there's kind of food stuffs going on, and there's wine, and there's drinks, and there's been chocolates and different clothing items, and there's kind of a little live, vibrant Leo Coin community giving merchants an opportunity to acquire Leo coin from selling products that they want to sell any which way. And all of that is working extremely well. But then I was speaking to our our CS team leader over there, and he was saying on the back of this little event that they did, they sold 23 DMS services. So the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, if you like. And so when you start speaking to people about crowdfunding, about digital currencies, about e-learning, about entrepreneurship, suddenly the whole Leo business that most people think is sometimes a bit complicated to pitch becomes so interesting for a new person. I noticed myself, as I said, when I go to social functions now, and I mention, yeah, we launched this little digital currency and it's called Leo Coin, and people want to know more because there's a real spirit of curiosity now about digital currencies and about crowdfunding and about everything that we do. So well done, all of you guys in Canada. Really appreciate the penny dropping with you guys and the hard work that you put in. In Pakistan, I loved these pictures when I saw them because they ran a barbecue and recognition event in Bhavalpur on the 27th of January, just a couple of days ago. And again, the spirit of Pakistan is so positive, and when we have our events in Dubai or anywhere in the world, and we have this group of Pakistani people that come, and they are full of joy, they're full of spirit, and they have this entrepreneurial flair that I really think of all of our markets, the Pakistani leaders have really created something extraordinary where we have a proper networking, duplication, leadership creation program, and an incredible amount of joy in the business. So just a great little thing to share with you here. Now I'm looking at the lower right hand side picture, and I have no idea who this person is on the left, but he kind of looks like a Pakistani version of a belated Santa Claus or something, but I'm sure I'm stepping on cultural toes here now, so I should say less about that. But so much fun, so much joy. We went to Cameroon, me and Andy Hansen, and we did a live seminar over there, and Andy Hansen said probably in his time in Leo, maybe in his time in personal development, professional development that he's been in for some 20, 30 years now, he said that the Cameroon audience was the most exceptional audience ever. They got it, and they had such a positive attitude that was just remarkable. I went over there on the tail end of my the House of Parliament event in Hong Kong a few days before. I had to fly, my luggage was lost, the plane broke down, and I had to spend an extra night at the Heathrow airport. It was kind of a tale of woes and drama to get there. But when I arrived, it had gone from just being sort of a Support Leo members event trip to, oh no, Dan, you're meeting the media, you're meeting television. Yes, this television 2, TV2, or whatever, which channel, Canal 2, second biggest television national TV and radio station, wanted to interview me. I was on breakfast TV, and I was in front of the camera non-stop, asking questions about the emerging digital economy, about entrepreneurship, about training. They had such an interest in this little English company coming to Cameroon that I was just amazed and kind of touched, because not only that, but our members put together one of the best events, well, certainly the best event this year, where some 700 people came from near and wide, from some 6 countries, neighboring countries, as well as people in Cameroon. And brilliant people, and kudos and respect to all of you who are on this call from Cameroon. Really appreciated my time in your country, and can't wait to come there again. But I did 6 o'clock in the morning television shows, Good Morning Cameroon. We were interviewed by different people, and it was just remarkable. And if you look at me sitting there in this television studio, you can tell that I'm a little bit tired because I've been traveling hard. But there was such a joyful spirit, and our leaders there, from Veronique Fargo and the PR guy that helped to make this happen, as well as Polaris. Fantastic event in the French-speaking Cameroon country. And we were just discussing it early on this morning and thinking, well, maybe we should do an African event and pull together a 2, 3, 4,000 people event in Cameroon, because they kind of deserve it. So part of me is very, very keen on that. So we're having discussions now, but there's something about Africa. I think Africa's time is coming, both within the continent itself. Infrastructure is developing and economies are building, but on a global level, I think Africa has an awful lot to offer, and so I'm very, very proud to be part of that. Now, the final conclusion to this call is the call to action. The DMS is available through your back office, and use it. Now, if you buy in January, you get your reward in March. That has to have some value for people who are sort of sitting on the fence. There's live seminars going on globally. There's a number of big events that we're just discussing here in the UK office before this call. So keep looking in your inboxes and on your social media. There'll be announcements coming through very, very shortly to finalize events in Turkey, in China, in Africa, and a very good time will be had by all. So until next week, this is Dan Andersson, your CEO. Very, very fiercely proud of what we're achieving together. Looking forward to speak to you again next Monday, the 5th of February, with further updates. And we're going to go back and do some more recognition then, because in the interest of time, we've kind of let that slip for the last couple of weeks. And we're going to do some major recognition next week, because there's some big pins coming through and some small pins coming through. And we'll work on that. So thank you very much for your kind attention, and I wish you all a fantastic week, and speak to more